Good morning, Sanae here, business breakthrough coach and sales mentor. And I want to share this very quick message. I'm going to talk really quickly because I want to keep it succinct, but I want to share with you a story that taught me a valuable lesson of what I needed to change, and hopefully will give you some insight into perhaps what needs to change in your business. And this is really about results never lie, like success or otherwise leaves clues. So the story briefly is I like to share stories that come from my drama classes. I am an aspiring actor as part of my side passion, if you like. And on Monday night, it was the end of term 2 presentations, a series of presentations that we're delivering over the next few weeks. And Monday was our voice presentation, which meant I had to recite, there's 14 of us in our class, and each of us had to recite a poem from T.S. Eliot's Book of Cats. So if you know the musical Cats by Andrew Lloyd Webber, you know that all these characters, Mr. Mistopheles and Macavity, and well, my cat was the Gumby cat. So I was reading this poem, The Gumby Cat. And just to backtrack, at the end of term 1 in December, during my voice presentation, I blanked, completely blanked in front of the audience. And just it felt like ages, but it was literally a few seconds where my mind went blank. I had no clue what to say next, and I got a prompt from behind me, and then I was back in the room. But after that experience, I was really frustrated with myself because I knew the lines and I thought maybe I hadn't prepared enough, but it was frustrating. So this time I have been very aware of this blanking, and I even Googled it. I did some research on it. It's called drying up in the industry, and it's very common. And I was thinking, right, I am absolutely determined. It was so horrible. It was such a horrible experience. Plus, because of the type of production this presentation is, the form of this presentation this term, it's a group work. We're all doing our piece as a collective. So I don't want to let my class down. So I was very, very aware of being prepared. So I learnt my lines. I learnt them impeccably. I was able to run them off, and I was, even as I was brushing my teeth, I was like thinking about my lines every day. And I knew consciously, I know this poem off by heart. And during the term, I've even sort of developed a few realizations around what benefits me. So having a sleep in the afternoon, because it's late on a Monday night, our presentations and our classes. So the times where I do kind of forget my words or fluff up, it's because I'm tired. I've been up early that morning and worked all day and then going straight to acting. So on Monday, I took the afternoon off. I made sure I had a sleep. I even had a strategic coffee on the way to class, on the way to the presentation. And as we were all meeting and milling around before the presentation, I was talking to my classmates, and we were all chatting about, how do you feel? Are you nervous? And I said, well, I'm as prepared as I can be because, I just don't want to blank. I mean, if I blank, that's awful. So we all got onto the stage. The audience was there. Luckily, it's internal. So at this stage, it's just an internal audience. So the rest of the school, no public as such. And I was first up. The Gumby cat was first up, and I began. And it's a weird out-of-body experience when you are performing. But I was delivering my lines, I was putting the expression in, the intonation, all the things that we'd been learning over the term. And then right towards the end, I fluffed it. I went in the wrong direction. I started saying the wrong line, which threw the poem completely. And then I blanked for a few painful seconds. I then apologised. I stepped back, sort of mentally stepped back, went back a couple of lines, and then re-picked it up and finished my poem. And then I sat down, and the next person stood up, and the rest of the 13 did their pieces. I have to say, impeccably. All of them were amazing. They delivered just beautifully. And I was distracted the whole time because my head was in the weeds thinking about, why, what was going on? And so I was distracted. When the time came to leave, I was a bit forlorn, and we all went our separate ways. Everyone was happy and saying, well done, everyone. But I was so engrossed in my own head around this mistake. So as I was driving home, fortunately, I have the tools, I have my level of self-awareness, and I was tapping away. I'm an EFT practitioner, so I was tapping all the way home on, oh gosh, I blanked, this fear of blanking. And as I was doing that, and as I got home and I was wired and I was thinking about, this so-called mistake, and I recognized that, oh my goodness, all term I have been working so hard on ensuring that I didn't blank, that I didn't forget my lines. Because what I was doing was shoring up a belief that I will surely blank. And it's like, what you fear, you create, you attract. So of course I was going to blank on stage. And then I started to realize that, wow, when I'm in chatting with my peers and my company, as we're called, my theatre company, one of the things I will talk about when we're talking about nerves and handling that stage fright or anxiety or whatever, I will talk about blanking. I will say that's the thing I'm worried about. So all of a sudden, I recognized that, of course, I was going to do that. Consciously, I knew my lines. I really was excited. I wasn't nervous. But under the surface, I have a belief, or I have a deep-seated fear of blanking. I also got kind of a bit of a message as I was tapping around perfectionism, like the need to be perfect, this trying to be perfect all the time, which again covers up a core belief that I'm not good enough. So as all of this started to bubble up to the surface, I very quickly was able to pivot my mindset around, wow, okay, so this was a gift, because it's come at this point where I have a performance on Sunday, I have presentations coming up at the end of March, and then next term we are then opening to the public. Our presentations will be paid tickets and to the public, so it's a completely different arena. So for me, suddenly I felt like what an absolute gift that experience was, because it was so painful that I was able to then dive deep and think, what is going on, and do the tapping instead of it just being a one-off, and recognize where my thinking has been. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because it is so relevant to business, and I speak to a lot of clients who say, I am doing all the things. I'm showing up. I'm aligned. I love my, I feel good about my ideal client. I know what my niche is, and they have all of this going on. But no matter what they do, their coaching calendars remain empty, and it's really frustrating. So consciously they're on point, they know what they're doing, but what needs to be looked at, because there's no escaping the law of cause and effect, whatever effect you're creating, whatever result is being perpetuated, the cause is internal. So the cause is a mindset issue. So what is it you are thinking about, inadvertently focusing on? And if you're thinking, well, I don't know, I'm not thinking about, not getting clients or having an empty diary. But when you look at your results and you can interpret those results to say, what am I thinking when I look at those results? What do those results represent for me? And that will give you some insight into where your familiar thinking has been. And remember, your power is in the now to change that. Any result you're creating today is a result of the way you were thinking yesterday, last week, last month. So your power is in the now to be able to change your thinking in order to change your results for tomorrow, next week, and next month, and the future. So I hope you found this helpful and a little bit insightful, and thank you for watching. And if you've, as always, if you've got questions and comments, pop them below. I'll always come back to you, and I love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you